Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm Robbie Rhino, and in today's video we're going to revisit the Cold War game mode and have a look at the Object 26856. So this is an Eastern Alliance Era 1 post-war era tank destroyer, and it is what I consider and what I think pretty much everyone considers to be the most overpowered tank in Era 1. Nothing hits harder in Era 1. I think its armour is as good as anything in Era 1. And it's just an absolute blast to play. It's a bit of a stress reliever for me. So what makes this tank so good? Well, it has a whopping 152mm gun, which deals 850 alpha damage, 303mm of penetration on its standard AP, and 395mm of penetration on its heat rounds. And if you want to fire the HE, it's 90mm of penetration for 1100 alpha damage, so pretty damn good. All of these replays have the stock gun. The only difference between the stock gun and the fully upgraded gun is a little bit of DPM basically, so it's 2428 DPM with the stock gun and 2500 with the fully upgraded gun. Yeah, it has 1950 hit points, 475 meters view range. It's pretty damn quick for a tank destroyer, 48 kilometers an hour base speed, and that means it has a horsepower to ton ratio of 15.7 1. The only downside I would say to this tank is probably the slightly slow traverse speed of 34 degrees a second, but all in all, it's an absolutely mental tank. I think it is too good for this era, but yeah, like I said, I'm not going to complain. It's a bit of a stress reliever for me. It's something that I play when I'm maybe having a bad day in World War II or even in Cold War. Just go back and this is a tank I probably plan to 3-muck. And speaking of 3-mucking, this is the second hardest behind the T95E3 in Era 1. I guess some people would consider the T95E3 to be the most overpowered, but I think this is as good, if not better, and it's more fun because of that amazing alpha damage. It just, like, look at that, it hits so hard, you're wiping out tanks in 2-3 shots, and what could be more fun than that? And I think this is a tank, and sort of tank destroyers benefit from that this true vision system so much better than any other tank in Cold War, because that sort of snipey gameplay that you can have sitting in the foliage, as I'm doing now. You can stay hidden, you can spot enemies through the bushes, and you can just fire without sort of consequence. Obviously you can be hidden, but as you can see what I'm doing here on Vineyards, I'm sat behind really dense foliage. They're going to really struggle unless they see my shell tracers, and I think you can kind of rely. There's a lot of new players playing Cold War, so obviously don't get too cocky, don't get overconfident, but don't expect everyone to be a really good player, and you can make those aggressive plays. The armour on this thing, it's pretty decent. It holds up to most things at this in this era. I think probably the best armour in Era 1 maybe is the turret of the M48 PI, I believe it is. But yeah, this is pretty good. It can bounce shells just because of the angling of the sort of superstructure, and it's just the overall package, I think. And in this video you're going to be seeing 3 replays where I have 2 wins and 1 loss. But I still create an amazing amount of devastation, and like I said, I think I'm going to 3-muck this. It's a hell of a lot of fun. So yeah, we are on Vineyards. I just said we've already picked up, wow, with that shot we've now picked up 4.6k damage. We've blocked 240. It looked like it was going okay, but our team's slowly starting to collapse. I'm going to try and get as much out of this game as possible. I'm not resigned to losing in any game, but sometimes you get that feeling, it's probably going to be a loss. But try and play aggressive, get as much as you can out of it for yourself, and by doing so, you may pull the game back. So what have I done this game? I basically come to this little ridge here, sort of D3-4 area, and I've just sniped towards their spawn basically. I didn't feel like I needed to push forward because there was always something I'm shooting. As soon as I'm reloaded, within sort of, I don't know, 3 to 10 seconds, I'm firing again, and I can't really put out the damage any quicker than I'm doing. There is only so much you can do in some games. Some games are unwinnable, but you've always got to try. And since I've been banging on, talking nonsense, we are now up to 5.7k damage. There's only 4 of us left against 12 opponents, so let's see how this one plays out. There we go. Coming up against our counterpart on the enemy team. Put a shot into him, and we're going to just try and come round now to this dip. Try and limit the amount of tanks, because we are outnumbered greatly, that can fire at me. I'm just going to try and get shots in where I can and just push those damage numbers up, because I will be going for those marks, and this is how you get that extra silver, especially in Cold War and Era 1 with the silver boost. It's a great tank to play, to have fun, and to sort of and to make silver. So we're up to 7.2k damage now. We're getting surrounded, we're the only one left. We're going to put one into this T-54, and then we're going to sort of, I don't know, try and wiggle, bounce, go forward and backwards, and just hope someone ricochets off our slope down armour, as that Object 268 on the enemy team does. And we're going to hope to get one more shot in. I've seen this T-44A coming in, auto aim right through the front of him, and that is our last shot of damage for this game. But in a pretty heavy defeat, we have picked up an amazing amount of damage for a defeat. We picked up, I believe, 8.5k damage. We blocked 1400, made nearly 200,000 silver, and as you can see by the XP counter going up, we are actually stock. So this tank's a joy to play from stock, and when it's fully upgraded, it is even better. So that's it for this replay, and we will hop into the next replay, and I will see you there. So here we are on the second replay, we are here on steps. And yeah, we're just going to dish out some more devastation to the enemy team. Just on the topic of the negatives of this tank, I mentioned in the first replay about the relatively slow traverse speed of 34 degrees a second. Obviously, commander skills, equipment, that kind of thing can help with that. I think the only other sort of downside to this tank, I would say, is in those sort of games where they are extremely quick. Your team or the enemy team just sort of wither and die really, really quickly in sort of 3 to 5 minutes because of the reload. As you can see there, at roughly about sort of, I've got it down to about 16 seconds. You can struggle to dish out as much damage as you want to, especially if you're going for like a second or third mark. But you know, it's not too bad. And I think apart from that, maybe the gun depression, it is only 5 degrees. I think it feels more of an issue at the Object 268 in the World War II at tier 10. I feel like I can expose myself more, not in that way, but expose myself more in this tank. Yeah, in Cold War, even with the True Vision, I don't know why. I just feel more confident in its armor. I think people are just very scared of this tank. I don't know. I see it in other tanks in Era 1, and I'm like, oh god, he's just gonna smack me. If I see one on the enemy team, and maybe our team have got like the tank that leads to this, so the SU 1-254, I'm like, well, they've got an advantage there. So yeah, just be wary. Look at the team list at the start of the game and decide sort of where this tank might be, where the other tanks might be, and make your movements according to that. So yeah, in terms of what we're doing in this game, we're here at our base, very similar to the last game. Other tanks are spotting for us, and we're just going to oblige and put shots into whatever we see. We see that their tanks are sort of pushing around the sort of CD1 and 2 area. They're coming towards our base, and we're just going to sit here and defend. And as you can see, like, some people don't realise they're spotted with the True Vision, and it's just I hated it in World War II when it first was sort of like tested, but with the Cold War, I'm actually quite enjoying it. It's nice to go back and forth between the two modes and have different kind of experience. So yeah, I think well, I hope that a lot of other players are sort of feeling the same. Try to get a shot on the light tanks, and that could be an issue as well. The gun arc is very limited, so you do have to move your whole hull to get shots on moving targets. So you kind of have to preempt where they are going. That can be a sort of skill that you pick up in non-turreted tanks, either in World War II or in Cold War, but I don't find it too bad. As you can see there, it kind of jerks when you're in sniper mode, which can be annoying, but this this guy there is just sat on the train tracks. I don't know quite what he was thinking, or maybe he's just trying to spot, but that's a terrible mistake for him. And again, I've been rambling on. We've picked up 4.5k direct damage and 500 assistance. And you're seeing me sort of snipe and stay hidden quite a lot in these first two replays. But this tank is an excellent brawler as well. Just try and make sure you've got a ridge or a building or something you can sort of fall back behind when you are reloading. You don't have to worry about artillery, which is great in Cold War. Obviously ATGMs are a bit of a different issue, especially in Era 2 and 3, but it's nowhere like being pooped on from the sky. Yeah, you can sort of see them coming with the indicator as well. So this is what I mean, it's a great brawler. I put a shot in, I've pulled back over a ridge, and when I'm ready I'm going to go back over and put another shot into another tank. So we're up to 5.4k damage. Looks like this game is going to be a heavy win, similar to last game where it was a heavy loss. This can happen quite often in either Cold War or World War II, so there we are. Yeah, that poor T-44A, I think he came in to sort of put a shot into me, but as I was reversing to get out of the way of the two tanks in front of me, I get a lovely kill there. Completely intended, of course. But here we are, we're using the ridges just to dip over, dip back when we're reloading, and just put the hurt into the enemy. We're going to go in for a ram here. I've got 1,000 hit points, so why not? We're a heavy tank. And when you do ram tanks, you know, you track them, you damage them, and you get that lovely juicy experience. And in a short space of time, look at that, we've picked up 7.1k direct damage, 500 assistance, and another fantastic game. We finished 3rd place on the team. Make a bucket ton of silver again. Yeah, and a really enjoyable game. And I've been playing this tank quite a lot, just to, yeah, like I said, just to chill, bit of a relaxed tank. But yeah, I'll leave that replay there, and we're going to go into the next replay now, where I have an even better game. So I shall see you there shortly. So here we are on the 3rd and final replay for this video, and we're on my favourite map, Westfield. This is a great map, especially for sort of TDs, I think, especially where I'm going to be going. You have great sort of lines of sight across quite a large portion of the map. You have foliage to stay hidden, you have that sort of distance to sort of, yeah, to also stay hidden, and people sort of get caught out of position a lot on this map. They go to sort of the bushes to spot, sort of towards the middle of the map, and you can catch them out and cause absolute mayhem. So on this map, in a tank destroyer, especially in Cold War, I like to go down where I'm going now, down the 0 line. Just going to go to sort of where the bridge is, see what gets spotted. And hopefully, as soon as something gets spotted, I'm going to put a nice big 850 alpha damage bomb into them. This game, I'm not going to completely spoil it, but this game, I do wish that I could play parts of it back, because I think it could have been an even better game. I think this is probably the best game that I've had in this tank so far. I've had some very high damage numbers. And combined damage numbers. Unfortunately, some of them I didn't record because I didn't have the equipment at the time. But yeah, so we're going up to this sort of area here. We've gone past the bridge. I thought I was going to stop, but I've actually pushed on. I know I'm exposing myself, especially with True Vision here, but I can't really pass up the chance to put 826 damage into someone. I'm confident in my armor, like I say before, and that's what I mean where you get this great line of sight, and I'm going to try and use this bush and this foliage to stay hidden and shoot across the map. we've got to be sort of patient sometimes in this position. You can get overconfident and overexcited with the amount of damage, the amount of tanks that get spotted. But I'm going to try and pick and choose my shots correctly. We put another massive shot into that SU 12254, and we're already up to 1500 damage. We are one tank up already. I'm just going to sort of rinse and repeat in this position, really. There's no need for me to move. I think part of the skill in this game is knowing when to move, when to sort of advance, but also when to stay still and sort of don't give your position away. That tank goes unspotted, thinks he's safe, but no, we put another big shot into him and we're up to 2.2k damage. And thankfully our light tank's doing kind of what he should be doing. Maybe he's playing, you know, quite recklessly, quite aggressively, but a man of my own heart, or woman I should say. But yeah, he's given me fantastic tanks and opportunities to shoot at. Unfortunately, we missed that light tank. But as we sort of go back over the ridge, this fantastic armor works. It's sloped backwards, and we block a 320 damage shot. Unfortunately, we are losing a few tanks now. This game does stay even for quite a while. And it's those kind of games where the longer kind of games, the more damage you can dish out. In a tank like this, you kind of want your team to be not completely terrible. They fold within 3 to 5 minutes, but you don't want them to be so good that you win in 3 to 5 minutes. You want to have enough time to be able to dish out the damage. Obviously winning's nice, but doing damage and winning is fantastic. And you can catch people on Westfield in this position going up the hill. Most tanks are going to go up that very steep hill very slowly, and probably should have turned around and gone back down the hill, but no, he's pretty much finished. We were going to finish him off. It's a bit greedy of me, but I'm looking for the damage. I'm just trying to push these numbers up, really, if I'm honest. Looking back at the game now, maybe I should have taken on quite a few of these shots to kill. Please learn from my mistakes. If there's a tank on the enemy team, it's still a gun in the game, regardless of whether they've got 1 hit point or their 4 hit points. They can still dish out the damage. Yeah, so that is a tip that I think even I struggle sometimes. I'm thinking, surely he'll be finished off by an enemy teammate, but they aren't always. So yeah, just be wary of that. And we're going to try and aim a shot into that SU 12254, but he jukes me going back up that hill, and at that distance, it's going to be very difficult to lead the shots. Again, this shell velocity isn't awful, but it is still relatively slow. It sort of dips as well. You've got to be very, very sort of wary of what you're doing. I think we could shoot through that wall there, but we do miss that medium tank in the middle. We get spotted, probably by that light tank, I believe. But we are staying in this position in G0. We have shots. I don't feel like there's a reason for me to move. I'm in good proximity to my base to be able to go and defend. And this light tank is coming after me. And as you can see here, here's kind of a problem with the traverse, but he gets caught on the hill. We are going to free aim just in front of him, and luckily we get the shell in just about as he's picking up speed. And that's kind of a skill and a trick you're going to have to learn to do in this tank. You're going to have to sort of free aim when things are circling you, the faster, mediums and the light tanks. So free aiming, what do I mean by free aiming? Basically not going, well, you can go into sniper mode, but I don't go into sniper mode, pointing a reticle and turning the hull and aiming just in front of a moving target. Not locking on, not auto-aiming, because if I'm auto-aiming a tank that is circling me and going fast, my shell is just going to lag behind it. It's not going to hit them, and I'm going to get circled to death, basically. So this is a very even game at the moment. We picked up 5.8k damage and 365 assistance damage. We're down by 3 tanks, so this is winnable. This is definitely winnable. Our base is sort of being contested at the moment, but there are 3 tanks to my right which are dealing with that. I'm going to try and get a shot into this light tank. As I've said in a few of my videos now, light tanks, end of game, World War II, Cold War, are extremely, extremely powerful. If they conserve their hit points especially, they have the speed, the view range and the concealment to cause absolute mayhem. And this M47, I'm not quite sure what he's doing, but I don't know whether he saw me or whether he realised he made a mistake a little bit too late, but he bounces off us. I think he bounces or he might have missed, but we put one into him, and we're just going to back up now so that the ridge is between us and the enemy, and I'm expecting this M47 to come around to my left, so I'm just going to have a little poke, see if he's there, and I want to get tanks out of the game. This is a bit risky because of the tanks in front of me, but I'm going to put a shot into him and ram him to finish him off, and that's one tank out of the game. And I think a great tip that I can give players, especially newer players, is to use your tank as a weapon. Well, use your tank and not just your gun as a weapon. If you're a relatively heavy tank on a low target, don't wait that sort of 15-16 seconds to reload. You wanna take him out quickly, and you wanna sort of just shoot and ram, basically. Make your tank a battering ram. Obviously, don't do it if you're a one shot. But now I'm getting shot from multiple sides in this game. It's not looking too great, but I'm going to try and finish off tanks as much as I can. I'm trying to wiggle an angle at 45 degrees to sort of bounce the light tank to my right and the TD in front of me. The TD is penning me reliably because he is looking down on me, so my armor is going to be weaker. We finish off the TD and we immediately turn now, and it's 1 versus 4. I know I'm turretless, I'm going to try and get to hard cover, so it's going to be hard for things to circle me. I believe I'm trying to push up to the sort of left here, so that if something does come up behind me or to the right of me, yeah, there we see, I'm maybe reversing up to this sort of mountain here, this rock formation. So I have something behind me, I can always reverse up, try and stop them circling me, and this light tank, unfortunately, as soon as I turn, he's there, and this is all a bit hectic. We turn, snapshot into that SU-122-54, take him out. It's now 1 versus 3. We are a one shot for pretty much everything, I think, even the light tank. Auto aim into that T-44A, set him on fire. We've gone over the 10k damage mark, he's still burning. We're just rocking backwards and forwards, trying to keep our armor angled to as many directions as possible. We notice this light tank's coming in. They crash into each other, which means I can get a shot into the medium tank. And now it's 1 versus 2, and I'm thinking, oh my god, this is a fantastic game. I don't regularly go over 10k, I haven't done it much, only in Cold War actually. And then especially in Era 1, I'm thinking this is the chance to be an even more epic game than it is already. I'm expecting this light tank to come around to the side of me here, so I'm trying to stay angled to the medium, but also the light tank. But now I notice the light tank sort of going towards our base. I've decided to go after this T-44A, and that there, well, I had a quick snapshot I should have taken, and as you can see, I'm going to live to regret taking that shot, unfortunately. So I'm going around now, I'm thinking he's still hiding there. But I'm going too fast, I overshoot, and this traverse is what kills me now. There we go, and that's a complete heartbreak. Good play by that T-44A, he used his mobility to get round to my side, but I should have played that a lot better and just been more patient. But we pick up 7 kills, nearly, or just shy of 11,000 direct damage, 365 assisted damage, and we block 3.7k, make a bucket ton of silver, even in a heartbreak, and that's my best game in this tank so far, and it just shows you what this tank is capable of if you let it put out those massive 850 alpha damage bombs. Yeah, it's a fantastic tank. I highly recommend you play this. It's a very enjoyable tank, and I think it's nice to have that sort of tank destroyer class in Cold War finally. So I'll leave that one there because I'm about to cry after watching that last game again. Thank you so much for all the support. Thanks for watching. Please let me know if you're liking my content. There is plenty more Cold War and World War II coming out very soon. I've got lots of replays. Just need to find the time to commentate on them all. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you on the battlefield, and bye for now.